Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode on Revsy Care Hub. Please do not forget to like, do not forget to comment, do not forget to share, do not forget to subscribe. Very important. In order to remain enlightened and not to miss out on any of our health talk, and also to make sure you are sharing the knowledge around. So, I remain Nurse Uke and I'm your health advisor on Revsy Care Hub. On this week's episode, we shall be talking about the means and the facts of malaria. If you are in Africa or you are from Africa, you must definitely relate to this because it is very common and it is really serious. Though not everybody takes it as being serious, but it is. Make sure you sit and enjoy, and don't forget to click on the subscribe button and hit your notification button in order not to miss up on any on our episodes. Malaria is a life-threatening disease condition which is caused by Plasmodium parasite, and it is being transmitted to people through the bite of the female Anopheles mosquito. Please let's take note of that. It is being caused by a Plasmodium parasite and transmitted to people through the bite of the female Anopheles mosquito. Also, when this mosquito bites a person and then this parasite is being transmitted into that person's body, signs and symptoms comes up to know that you are suffering from this illness. You have symptoms like fever, you have chills, you have body pain, you have nausea, you have vomiting, you have fatigue, tiredness. These are some of the signs and symptoms of malaria. Also, it is severe in children lesser than 5 years old. It is also serious in pregnant women. It is serious in elderly, older adults. It is also serious in individuals that are traveling from a place where there is no malaria at all to a place where there is malaria. As common as it may seem, we should also take note that if malaria is not treated when it is early diagnosed, it could lead to serious complication or severe complications, and these complications can include anemia, which is loss of blood. It can include cerebral. You have something called cerebral malaria. This one affects the brain. It can also lead to renal failure, liver failure, and a lot more. So it is very important to make sure that whenever you have symptoms like this, you visit the hospital, do do checkup, do laboratory tests, and if malaria is detected, it's important to treat it as early as possible in order not to suffer from any of the complications. It is diagnosed using a test strip or a test kit in the laboratory, and it is treated using anti-malaria drug. We have different category of anti-malaria drug, so it depends on which the doctor prescribes for you. In cases of malaria, it is best to be prevented rather than to be treated. Some of the preventive measures of malaria involves the use of mosquito nets. There is these nets you can use in your house to sleep. You can also make sure that your windows, your doors are being covered by these nets in order to prevent mosquito bite. You can also make use of mosquito repellent. You can make use of insecticide, making sure your environment is clean, avoiding dirty environment and stagnant waters because these areas tends to breed these mosquitoes. I talked about the cause, I talked about the signs and symptoms, I talked about what it is, I talked about how it threatens our life, the complications, I talked about how it can be diagnosed in the lab, I also talked about the treatment and the preventive measures. With these, we can hit the myth and the fact. I can't wait to get there because more is interesting because some of these things let's get right into it. So The first myth here that I have is malaria is not life threatening. Says who? Please, malaria is life threatening. Like I said earlier, it is caused by the bite of a female Anopheles mosquito, transmitting this plasmodium parasite into our bloodstream. And when it gets there, it breaks down this red blood cell and also the liver cells. So tell me why that isn't life threatening. If it is better it is prevented, or when it occurs, it should be treated as soon as possible. Else, it becomes life threatening because of the complications with the blood and the liver. So, it is very, very important. We take it serious. Okay, okay, this leads us to the second myth. Here, our second myth here is having no reaction or bumps after being bitten by a mosquito shows that you are safe from malaria. Says who? So, I'll let you know this. Not everybody reacts or shows this bites or bumps on their body after being bitten by a mosquito. But whenever you are exposed to mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito, and you are being bitten by them, my dear, you're in tendency of having malaria, whether you like it or yes. So make sure that you protect yourself, you prevent it. Forget if you're having the reactions or not, whether you're having the mosquito bites or not. My dear, you are not safe. If you don't prevent it, you are going to suffer from malaria illness or malaria sickness. So it's important you prevent it or you treat it as soon as possible. Alright, this leads us to our third myth. So our third myth here is that malaria disappears or vanishes during dry season. Says who? Alright, so the season really do not matter, though we already know that due to the stagnant water that rainy season can create and the bushes and everything, will agree that during rainy season mosquitoes are more. But that doesn't mean they are not around during dry season. They don't really have a season. It just depends on how you prevent it in your environment. So you are not saying because you're in a dry season or you're in summer, mosquito wouldn't bite you. It will if you do not prevent it, and it will get worse if you do not treat it when you have these symptoms. You understand? So season do not really matter. What matters is that you are preventing it, and when the symptoms show up, you are treating it. Alright, I hope you understand that. So that leads us to our fourth myth. So our fourth myth is that I do not have chills or fever. I do not have malaria. Really? See, malaria comes in various symptoms, signs and symptoms, and difference by person. You understand? So what works for you or what shows for you might not show for the other person. You just have to understand your system. Some people have this fever, chills. Some people just come down with headache, severe headache, that even after 3 days and with analgesic, it doesn't go. Some people have this vomiting, nausea, and the likes. A lot of people, some people comes up with insomnia, inability to sleep. Some people come up with loss of appetite, anorexia. So you can see that the symptoms varies from person to person. So you know what works for you. Whenever you just have any symptom that do not that shows that your normal state of health is not okay, you just have to visit the hospital, do the right tests, and if it is positive, make sure that you treat malaria. So for our fifth myth, it's going to be two in one bonus, one extra. It's really interesting to talk about the myths and facts of malaria because we see all of these in the hospital every day, and it's really funny, but it's good we have knowledge about it. So for our fifth myth, we'll talk about the first one, which I said is going to be malaria do not occur the second time. That's after you've contacted it once, you're not going to have it again. It says if you have it the first time, you do not grow immune to it. It can come over and over and over again. That is why preventive measures is important, to limit the way you take medications and to limit the way you visit the hospital. So you have to make sure you put those preventive measures in place. All right. So we'll talk about the other part, which is mosquitoes dies after feeding on one prey. Like after a particular female Anopheles mosquito bites a person, the mosquito will just die. No, even if it's just one mosquito in a house, just one female Anopheles mosquito in a house, it can bite everybody around and give everybody the same malaria. So it doesn't mean that after one mosquito bites one person, the person dies. No, you can keep on spreading that parasite around. So you can see that it's important we just prevent it. Preventive measures are very, very important. And when you know you're at risk of having a very severe complication, make sure you avoid, like I said earlier, children under the age of 5 years, pregnant women, elderly adults, and everybody actually needs to prevent it, but this set of people needs to prevent it even more. You understand? So I said earlier that the preventive measures include the use of mosquito nets, the use of repellent, the use of insecticide, making sure your environment is clean, neat, and taking care of stagnant water around you, clearing the bushes in order to prevent these mosquitoes from breeding around us. We should also make sure that when we go to the hospital, we are being tested positive, medications are being prescribed. We need to make sure we take the doses rightly. The hours that are stated here, we should make sure we follow them up, and also the we should make sure we also complete the medication, and no self-medication is allowed. Make sure that you are not taking self-medication, not because this time around I fell ill of malaria, I had fever, the next fever you have or the next vomiting series you have, you just conclude that, oh, this is what happened to me the last time, I should go and get this certain drug I was given. No, it's totally wrong. That is self-medication and is not advisable. So you have to go and do that test to make sure that it is not something else that is wrong, because these signs and symptoms can appear in several illnesses and several disease conditions. You understand? So we should not just claim that malaria is the only thing that is wrong with you. No. So with this, I've come to the end of this section, and I hope you learned something new. Please, if you did, or you have another myth you want to add or another fact you want me to talk about, please drop it at the comment section. I'm so happy you stayed with me to the end of this section. Please do not forget to like, do not forget to comment, do not forget to share, do not forget to subscribe in order not to miss out on the next episode. I promise it's going to be a hit back to back, like always. Bye for now.